Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new, and if you are new, girl, what's up? My name is Dakota. I make a ton of content on this channel, included but not limited to story times, advice, lifestyles. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a chit chat, get ready with me, girl talk type of thing. So if that's something that you enjoy, don't forget to give this video a like. Also don't forget to subscribe and turn your post notifications on by clicking the bell icon. That way you're notified every single time I post a video here on YouTube, period. For this one, I'm breaking my alcohol fast because, girl, we have a lot to get into. We're going to talk about toxic friendships, toxic people, celibacy, dating in your late 20s. I'm going to say it without crying. No, I'm just kidding. I love getting old. We're going to be classy for today. I think that's enough. Go ahead, get your wine, get your snacks, get your popcorn. Get a notepad. As CCB says, put your triggers to the side. I can't promise that all the products will be listed down below because I'm unreliable, but if you want to know something, girl, just ask me. Let's just have like a gulp, okay? Perfect, literally perfect. I really just want to talk about like things that are currently going on in my life that I'm not doing anymore because I'm just quite literally sick of everybody. Toxic friends. And to be honest, I feel like my whole life I've really struggled with friendships because I feel like I'm always that friend. We're not doing this. We're just going to do a pomade. Where are my brushes? That's a better question. Uno momento. So I feel like my whole life I've struggled with friendships because I feel like I'm always that friend. And it's so cliche. And I know that people are probably sick of bitches saying this, but like, I'm that friend that's always there, right? If you need me, call me. If you need help moving out of your house, call me. I won't even ask for compensation. I'll just come and help you move. If you need advice on something, even though I've heard you complain about the same ain't shit guy for the past 4 years, like, I will be there for you at the drop of a hat. I will be there, right? And I feel like when I need something, or I need someone to talk to, or I am going through something, that energy is just like not reciprocated. A therapist was talking with this about me, how she was saying how community and support is so important when it comes to life in general, but especially being a woman. And she was saying that it's so important as moms as well, just to feel like you have support and you have community. And I don't feel like I have that. I have a couple friends now that I consider my best friends, are really good people. And I'm slowly transitioning into just hanging out with them and leaving, honestly, everybody else behind. I also at the same time struggle so hard with letting people go because of this abandonment thing that I have, where I know what it's like to feel abandoned. I know what it's like for someone to leave you when you're at your worst, and I never want to do that to other people. But it comes to a point in time, especially when you're getting older, because I know I have a lot of viewers who are a bit younger. When you start to get older, you start to realize who your party friends are and who your real friends are. Like, who the people are that you can call and be like, yo, like, I'm going through this right now and it really sucks and I just need someone to talk to, versus the ones where it's like, you guys go out together, you share some laughs, you share some drinks, but then at the end of the day, that's really it. And I kind of realized the other day, like, why do I want friends who are only there for the good times? Why do I want friends who are only around for when I'm doing good in life, or I'm super great, or I'm uplifted, or they can benefit from me, or whatever? Like, why would I not want friends who are there for me no matter what? Who are there for me when I'm on the struggle bus? Who are there for me when I'm crying on the bathroom floor at 3 a.m. Like, I want friends that are there for me through and through, not just the friends where it's like, let's go get margaritas or let's go get tacos. It's like, no, bitch, like, let's talk about real life things. You know what I mean? And that brings me to my next point too, is I'm so sick of being around people who just gossip 24/7. I have never in my life, and I grew up around a lot of women who just talk so much shit. Like, I'm telling you, like, would talk crap about like their best friend, like grown women, you guys, grown ass women, cousins, like, and shit like that, who would just talk so much crap about other family members, but then be in their face and be all like, haha, kiki, like, we're family, and that's why, honestly, like, I don't talk to majority of my family. And the reason why is because a lot of them are just fake, and I'm just gonna be honest with it. Like, especially when I got pregnant, I noticed that. So I had never really been like too close with my family. At the end of the day, I really only have my mom, my dad, and my grandfather, my grandmother, all grandparents on all sides are passed. I'm not close with any of my cousins or anything like that. Like, it's really just like that. And I am used to dating like, you know, like Hispanic men, and their families are super family oriented. They have barbecues, they have parties, and like they're super like, if they need something, they have somebody to rely on, and I've just never really had that. And so sometimes I look at that, and I think it took me starting to date men who were like super family oriented for me to be like, oh shit, so what I go through is not normal. Like, I just thought it was normal and nobody really talked to their family, you know what I mean? And I just grew up around like a lot of women who would just talk shit all the time about family members, about friends, etc. But then they would be in their face and they would be so fake. And I'm like, even at like 10 years old, I looked at that shit and I'm like, that is not normal. Like, that is not what you're supposed to do. Like, if you're friends, why are you talking shit about each other? You know what I mean? And of course, like, as women, like all of us sometimes, we like to cheese, man. We like to, like, you know, say a little thing like what, like every now and then. But if you're hanging out with your friends and the focus is primarily on talking shit about other people, I'm here to tell you that that is not normal. You are like the 5 people that you hang out with the most. And if you are around people who are gossiping 24/7, it doesn't matter if you are into personal development, into spirituality, into being your higher self. You could be the most healed, namaste, Mother Teresa bitch on the planet. If you're around girls who are constantly gossiping all the time and are just drama, you're going to get sucked into that because it's human nature. And if you're somebody like me who's like empathetic and you're an energetic sponge and you just like absorb like everything from everybody around you, that's just what's going to happen. And it's human nature. We are like the people who we are around the most, but we need to make sure that those people are positive. Like, especially as you get older, like you should be around people who are talking about how they want to improve their lives. You know what I mean? Like where they want to be in the next however many years. Personal development. Like, do you know how badly I crave to talk to people about like a book that I just read? And I'm like, oh my God, I just read the 4 Agreements. Have you ever read it before? Let's talk about it. And like dive into, like, me and my friend Mariana, I fucking love her to death, and she actually watches my videos. So hey girl, that's a topic that we're not even going to get into, but she is somebody that I could talk on the phone with for hours about spirituality, about enlightenment, about personal development, about traumas and triggers and stuff. And it's like, we always have stuff to talk about. There's never a dull moment. And I have for years craved a friendship like that, where I could just like, I feel like I was so backed up because it's like, I don't want to talk about freaking Francesca and her man and why they're toxic. I don't want to talk about how Sally is, you know, like conceited and thinks that she's better than everybody. I don't want to talk about like exes all the time and just like relationships and boyfriend. Like, you get fucking sick and tired of hearing that shit after a while, and it's just not fun for anybody involved. So like, I feel like with her, I was really able to be like, oh my God, I feel like I finally have a freaking friend that I could talk to about shit that matters, like stuff that matters. And like, she actually was the one who brought it up to me the other day. I was like, you know, I'm not saying that when I have a friendship, like I have to benefit from you, right? I'm just saying that if I'm doing X, Y, and Z for you, that I just want you to be a good friend. And she was like, actually, no, I disagree. She's like, I think that when you do have a friendship, it should be beneficial. And I'm not talking about financially or anything like that, but beneficial in a way where it's like, you're getting back the same amount of energy that you're putting in. And I was like, yo, you know what? You're right. And that honestly brings me to my next expectation of like, I mean, my next topic of having expectations. I feel like we live in a society. I was out with somebody a couple weeks ago and we were talking about relationships, and one of the guys that we were with, hold on girl, you know, he had asked me, he said, he goes, women expect too much. And I said, no, actually, I disagree. I think women expect too little, and that's why we are in this society nowadays where we are having so much divorce rate. The divorce rate is so high, people are not staying together anymore. And he goes, well, what are your expectations when you're in a relationship? And I said, oh, well, that's a good question. And now I'm in a position where now as a woman, I can answer that. If you asked me that shit years ago, I would not have been able to tell you because I didn't know who I was. But now I'm like, well, I want a man who's hardworking. I want a man who has a passion, because passion is very sexy to me. I want a man who's very understanding, who's kind, who's empathetic, who's sweet, but also at the same time knows how to lead and knows how to like put me in my place if I'm acting a little bit too out of sorts. Or, you know, I'm so like aloof and like head in the clouds and daydreaming that sometimes I need someone to like bring me back down to earth and be like, bitch, no, let's do it the logical way. So someone that knows a little bit of logic. I want somebody who also is a dreamer though, and that we can like make plans together. Like, you know, I'm the thinker and he's the doer type of thing. I want someone who's a team unit, you know, family oriented. And he kind of looked at me and he just was like, see, that's what I'm saying. You guys expect too much. And I said, no, I said, I don't think it's too much to expect someone to be a decent human being. Actually, being a decent human being is the bare minimum of a relationship. And what people don't understand is that a guy is supposed to be nice to you, okay? A guy is supposed to be nice to you. A guy is supposed to spend time with you. A guy is supposed to come and see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many guys are like, oh, I made so much effort with her. I drove 30 minutes to see her. What do you mean? Like, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Like, what are you talking about, you know? And I feel like so many people are so caught up in like, oh, well, you know, he's nice to me. I heard someone say at one time, they were like, yeah, you know, like our relationship, I'm not like 100% happy with it, but he's nice to me. And I'm like, girl, he's supposed to be nice to you. Like, he's supposed to be like treating you like a queen. Like, what are you talking about? And I just feel like, so okay, anyway, when I was out, one of the girls that we were with was talking about relationships, and she goes, yeah, when I go into a relationship, I don't have expectations. That way I don't get hurt. And I'm like, so what you mean is that you're accepting the bare minimum because you're afraid to express your needs and your wants, because if you express your needs and your wants, that person may reject you. So the underlying issue is you're afraid of rejection. You're not this like boss ass woman that's like, oh yeah, have no expectations, I don't have any feelings. No, you actually do have a lot of feelings and you're very afraid of rejection. Therefore, you're not expressing your expectations because you think that he's not going to want to be with you. That's exactly what that is. And like bare minimum expectations are something that we so freaking learn from childhood, because some of us grew up in like the not best conditions and we were not taught how to express our emotions and how to ask for things that we wanted. And if we do, we were often rejected or we were scolded for like, how dare we want things? You know what I mean? Like, money doesn't grow on trees, and like, you know, I'm barely like making payments for the freaking heat this year. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we often felt the need to suppress and hide our wants and our needs, and we were never able to express them, but also they were never met. So because of that, what that does is it puts like a shield over us, and this little shield says, don't ever express your wants or your needs because that person may reject you. They may think that you're too much, okay? And so what happens with that is we are never full. We are breadcrumbs. So people will, I'm telling you right now, tell a guy, oh, I'm not materialistic, I don't ask for much, you don't ever have to do anything for me. Don't ever say that, because that guy really will not do shit for you. I'm telling you, you will not get a flower, you'll not get a card, nothing. And I don't care what people say. Having the love language of gifts is not a selfish thing. That is my love language. I like physical touch and I like gifts. Buy me flowers. Why is it so hard? You can go to like 7-Eleven and get a bouquet for $5. Like, it's not hard. It really is not. And but what most of us do is we get with these men and we just expect them to want to get us flowers, or we expect for them to want to do things for us. And in this era where everybody's like, never depend on a man to do anything for you, do everything for yourself. Girl, no, like, I'm sorry, but that is so ass backwards. Like, men are supposed to lead. Men are supposed to take initiative. Like, yes, of course, I will always be financially stable to the point where I don't need a man. But if we get together and I want to take a couple years off because I want to be with our kids, like say that, you know, we just like had a child and they're newborn, and I don't want to put them in daycare. Like, I want to be able to like be a mom to them for a couple of years instead of having to put them in daycare at 3 months old like I had to do with my daughter. And can you hold the house down until then? Because women naturally do more anyway. Like, somebody was just talking about that whole like 50-50 thing the other day, and they were like, I'm sorry, but I don't believe in that, because women naturally do more. We cook, we clean, the kids want us more, we do more for the kids in general. Like, emotionally, we just have more going on. So like, I don't believe in the 50-50 thing. And like, honestly, I used to, because when okay, little backstory, story time and a not story time. Basically, when I was growing up, I was around a lot of women who depended on a man for income. So like, they made their own money, but God forbid that man ever left, like they would be screwed basically. And I went through it a lot with like my mom too, like, because you know, she and my stepdad were together and she wanted to leave him, but she was afraid because she was like, you know, New Jersey was expensive, and she was like, I can't afford to live here like on my own, it's just impossible. And so that's why we made the decision to go back to Connecticut. But I always told myself, like, I never want to be in a position where like I am only with somebody, like I'm only in a marriage or I'm only in a relationship, because I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. So because of that though, it created such a hyper independent mindset to the point where I didn't ask anybody for anything. I would go on dates and go 50-50 because I wanted to prove that I have my own money, right? I wouldn't ever let guys like pay for me or do nice things for me. And if they did, like I felt bad and I'd be like, oh, are you sure? And like it just created such a hyper independent thing for me to the point where no wonder why I wasn't attracting a high quality man who's supposed to lead, who's supposed to provide, who's supposed to take initiative, because I myself was in this era of like hyper independence and, you know, being like a boss ass bitch and being like, you know, super, I had this like hard exterior and my masculine energy was overriding my femininity because like as like a feminine, a high value woman and you're in your feminine energy, you're supposed to be in your era where a guy wants to pick you up on a date and wine and dine. You're supposed to be in your era where, you know, like a man is supposed to want to do nice things for you because as women, we're supposed to be the nurturers, right? Men, you know, like do things for us and we're not supposed to feel bad for it. You know what I mean? We're not supposed to be like, oh, well, he's going to think blah, blah, blah. Let him think that. That means that he's not the guy for you, you know? So because of that, it created such a hyper independent thing in me that I never really let like guys like do nice things for me. And so because of that, I was attracting low quality men who, honest to God, were fucking bums. Like I swear to God, like I would go out on dates and like sometimes I would like pay for them because they didn't have, this is when I was like very early 20s, you guys. This is not what I do nowadays, especially my last relationship that I was in. That was the first time that I was with a guy, or no, I'm sorry, probably the second time that I was with a guy who really did provide. Like he didn't want me paying for anything. He would hold doors for me. He would literally like, when we were at the restaurant, he would like pull out like chairs for me, like so I can sit. And that was my first time ever experiencing that shit. So because of that, I look at it as a blessing because honestly, that was my first time experiencing. And so now I know like, okay, like men like this still exist. Like chivalry is still alive. Like men still will do things like this for women and you don't even have to ask, they just fucking do it. And I think there's a difference between, so this is the next topic I want to get into, is how you treat yourself with how somebody else is going to treat you. If you buy yourself flowers every week, a man's going to see that and be like, oh, okay, she likes flowers. And is probably going to do that for you because he knows that you like that. If you have a spa day every week, maybe he'll go and get you a gift card because he sees that you like going to the spa. And it's like you're doing things for yourself to take care of yourself, to love yourself. But you're also showing somebody like, hey, this is how I treat myself. Therefore, I need you to also treat me this way. Because if I'm treating myself like this, why would I accept anything less from a man or relationship, right? Anyway, I say that to say that I feel like for such a long time, I was in this like toxic hyper independence, like I don't need a man, blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. And like, don't get me wrong, you know, I love being independent. I love making my own money. I truly do love not having to ever like text anybody and ask them to help me or like things like that, right? And that's something that we all should want for ourselves. We all should want to have our own income, to have our own passions, and to have our own life. But it's also nice to have somebody there where it's like, hey, you know, I got this. Like if you want to go and do this, or if you want to start this business and you need help for the first couple years, like I got this. And especially because what I'm realizing is I have for so long, my whole entire life, always depended on myself. I've always taken care of everybody else. I've always taken care of myself. And finally, I'm at a place in my life where the next person that I'm with, I want them not to take care of me, but like I just want less stress. You know what I mean? Like if I'm at a point where it's like I want to go open a business and it may not be, you know, peaches and cream for the first couple years, I want to be able to do that. And I don't think that that's bad. I was actually having a conversation with someone that I went to high school with the other day because I was having this little poll on my Instagram that was talking about, you know, like who pays for the first date. And this girl messaged me and she was like, you know, I used to be really in that era where it was like, I want a man to know I make my own money, etc. But then she was like, I got with my husband and he was the first guy that I was with that really like provided. And now I see that that's such like a toxic way of thinking because like we said, like men are naturally born to provide and women are naturally born to nurture. Like it's just what it is. She was like, now I wouldn't expect any less. And like I always tell like women, like guys like this are out there, like guys who provide and protect and who lead. Like here's the thing. This is gonna piss some people off, okay? But you're with a guy who's still living in his mother's basement, doesn't have a job, or does have a job but isn't really, you know, like committed to it, right? Doesn't know how to do laundry, doesn't even know how to cook a meal, okay? Like, isn't, like, no survival skills. Like, if you were in the hospital for a damn week, this man wouldn't know his elbow from his asshole, but you're expecting him to provide and to protect and to be in a household while you're gone and take it over and do, you know, like what he has to do. No, like, you're expecting men to provide, to protect, and to lead, but they can't even lead themselves to the damn dentist to go get a cleaning every 6 months. Notice in every relationship that I'm in that with every person, like, I'm getting better and better. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yes, the relationship may end, and yes, it may, you know, end and it may hurt me, but at least I'm getting better and better with what I tolerate in a relationship. Just like my last one, you know, when I was sitting in that hospital bed and I was like, dude, like, what's going on here? And I confronted him. The Dakota 5 years ago when she was with Adrian would have just let that continue to happen because she would have been afraid to say something, because that would have meant that he would have left her. And that would have been scary, because as a child, abandonment for Dakota was scary. But now she realizes as an adult that abandonment is sometimes the best thing that can happen to you, because honestly, you guys, rejection is sometimes God's protection. Like, he sees, like, no, you are not supposed to be with this person. You're supposed to be doing so much more in your life. I want you around somebody better. And when somebody is not supposed to be in your life anymore, this goes for friendships, this goes for relationships, this goes for anything, the universe will take them out of your life. If you won't do it, they will do it for you. It's only a matter of time. And they will take them out of your life in a way where there's no going back. So I see women often come upset because they're like, oh, we left on bad terms, or oh, we broke up and it was an ugly breakup. Girl, that breakup was supposed to happen. Like, honestly, with everything in my life, there was this one time where I was supposed to go to this club, right? It was a club in Bridgeport. It was like back when I used to be, you know, into like going out and stuff. Now I just stay home and talk to my cat. But there was like trouble getting in. Like everybody else was getting let in but me and the person that I was with, and I couldn't understand it. And I was kind of getting pissed off because I'm like, dude, I was here before these people, like, why are you not letting me in? And also, my friend had a table and I was with my friend, and they let my friends in, but they wouldn't let me and the person I was in with. And they were like, we're gonna try our best to get you in, but we can't guarantee anything. And I'm like, okay, but why? Because, like, I was literally here before these people, so why can't you get me in? So I couldn't for the life of me figure it out. And finally I got to a point where I was like, you know what, F it, let's just go. Like, I'm not about to sit here acting like a little groupie trying to get into this club. Like, it is what it is. Obviously I wasn't supposed to be here. The next day I found out that there was a shooting at that club, like maybe 10 minutes after I left. And that right there is why I always say, in my life, there's been so many situations where I was not supposed to be somewhere. And that can be honestly trickle down to anything in life, from relationships to friendships to jobs. So now what I do is, instead of getting upset or trying to overanalyze or trying to overplay my part, I look at somebody in my life, and when they leave or when I leave them, I'm like, that was supposed to happen. If I get invited to a party and my car breaks down, wasn't supposed to go to that party. If I am supposed to go to a job interview and something ends up happening and I can't go, I wasn't supposed to get that job. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we can honestly trickle that down to so many things in our life, especially people in relationships. If it ends, if it goes away, if it's not there anymore, it's not supposed to be there. Stop trying so hard to overplay your part in somebody's life to get them to see you as worthy. When you see yourself as worthy, them seeing you as worthy is just an add-on. It's like the icing on the cake, right? But you have to learn how to bake your own damn cake first, okay? And know the ingredients that are going into it, and know who, like, the ingredients are you as a person, knowing who you are as a person, knowing what you bring to the table. That way, if somebody else comes, it's just like an addition or an add-on. You don't need them, but you want them. And it's nice to want somebody else. It's nice to not have to do everything by yourself, but you also have to make sure you're solid and steady within who you are first. That is a lesson that is literally so important. And I kind of realized after a while, I was doing a lot of self-reflecting this week. I will allow people to stay way longer than their expiration date because I feel bad about abandoning them, because what if they need me, or what if, you know, something happens, or am I a bad friend? And then I finally got to a point where I'm like, Dakota, girl, if you even have to question somebody's actions, or if your intuition is screaming at you to get away from somebody, then that means that you were not supposed to be with that person. And does that mean that, you know, sure, life may be a little less fun because you don't have as many friends anymore? Yeah. Does that mean that, you know, on the weekends they may not be as lit anymore because you don't have as many friends? Yeah. But that also means that it comes with a level of peace that the only people that are around me are genuine. The only people that are around me are pouring into me. And sometimes you cannot get to where you need to be if you have toxic people around you. It's literally impossible. It's like the universe wants to take you here. And the people that you're surrounding yourself with energetically are here. It doesn't make you better than them. It doesn't make them less better than you. No, I don't believe in that shit. I just believe that people develop at a certain time faster than others, and that's okay. So where you're trying to go is here, and where they're at is here. Do you really think that God, the universe, whatever you believe in, is going to take you above and beyond when you're hanging out with people that are right here? That's literally not possible. It's not. And sometimes it takes like letting go of those toxic people that they don't mean harm and they're probably good, but they have toxic tendencies. Morally, you guys are not aligned. You see things way differently. Sometimes it really does take distancing yourself away from those people in order to get to where you need to be, but also to make room for new energy and new experiences. It's just like that junk drawer that you have in your house, right? You put your tape in there, you put your scissors in there, you put like your cutting boards in there, and one day you open the drawer and you're like, holy crap, this is filled to the absolute brim, okay? This is filled to the brim. I can't fit anything else in here. It's overflowing. What do you have to do? You have to take everything out. You have to look through the things that are in that drawer and say, okay, you know what? Maybe I don't need this tape that has been here for 3 years that I've never used. Goes in the trash. Maybe I don't need these cable cords that have been here for 5 years that I'm never going to use. Put them in the trash. Now what happens is you make room in that drawer for new things. Maybe you get something else that you want to put in there that might benefit you. Maybe you even go to Walmart and get all these little fancy bins and organize it. But until you get rid of certain things in that drawer, you're not going to be able to put new things in there. In this metaphor, the drawer is you. You are at max capacity when it comes to being around people who are gossiping, who are talking shit, who aren't leveling up in any way, and they're quite frankly holding you back. How do you expect new people to come in that are better for you and want better for you and that are energetically on the same level as you when you still have people in your life who act like this, who treat you like this, and who aren't there for you? Like, if you're like me and you're like that therapist friend of the group, but you never have anybody to go to like have a venting session with, like, you shouldn't be around people like that. As much as you're giving into a friendship, somebody else should give that back to you. Do you know how many times that I have been like a therapist for somebody, and the one time that I've sucked down my pride and been like, I need to go talk to somebody, I go and talk to them and they've been like, oh damn, that sucks, I'm sorry to hear that. It's the audacity for me. That's exactly what I mean when I say that you need to be around people who are benefiting you in a way where it's like, okay, like, it's not just me all the time who's putting out this energy, you're also reciprocating, you know what I mean? And so honestly, what I kind of sat back and realized too was that when it comes to relationships, like with men, right? I a lot of times will ignore red flags, or I a lot of times will glance over things, or I a lot of times will settle knowing that I deserve so much better. And here's the thing, being self-aware is a great thing, but being self-aware with no action is toxic. And I'm going to tell you why. I am so self-aware that I know the first time of meeting somebody if they're good for me or not, okay? And sometimes because I've been through trauma, I know that people get past trauma at just different levels in life, honestly, I will use that as an excuse to be like, well, maybe I can help them, not fix them, because honey, I am a retired Bob the Builder, okay? Like, I don't care about fixing men. I'll leave that to the rest of y'all who want to be like, oh, but I can fix that. I've never once in my life been like, oh, but I can fix. No, what I say is like, oh, well, maybe I can help them realize, or I'll see their potential and I'll fall for their potential. And I'll be like, well, maybe they just need somebody to make them see that they could be here. You know what I mean? And I have this mindset in my life where when I see somebody with potential, I'm like, well, maybe they just don't have the tools or resources. So maybe if I use my experience that I've learned from therapy and have just learned from, you know, life in general, maybe I can help them move past that. But a lot of times I not attract, because girl, when you're fine, you attract anybody. Let's just point blank period, okay? When you let in somebody who needs healing, what you do is you just do a disservice to yourself, because people who want to change, right? People who wants to change are going to change. Nobody meets a girl and is like, oh my God, I need to change for her because X, no. A man, yeah, he will, but that will last for like 2 weeks. Yeah, give it 2 weeks and then come back to me. When a man wants to change, or anybody wants to change in general, let's just be honest, they do it for themselves, okay? And like this, honestly, my dad, I always relate it back to my dad. My dad had an alcohol issue way back in the day, and it got to a point where he said that he had been to all the rehabs, he had been to all the meetings, he had done everything he possibly could to try to get better, and it wasn't working. And it wasn't until he was living in a rundown, not even 1 bedroom, like attic of a New Haven apartment, okay, in the worst part of New Haven possible, and he had like $5 left in his bank account for the whole entire month, that he finally looked in the mirror and was like, I'm fucking done. I'm sick of my own shit. I need to change. And he did. That day, cold turkey, completely cut alcohol out of his life to the point where he has not in 11 years picked up a drink. He, quite frankly, got so sick of his own shit that he did not want to participate in it anymore. And the same thing goes with changing. It's until you get so sick of your own shit and you get sick of that person that you're looking at in the mirror every single day that says they're going to change but doesn't, that you actually make active change. But that doesn't come from somebody else. It comes from with you, because everything starts and ends with you. And what I realize is that I don't want to be with somebody who I have to change. I don't want to be with somebody that I have to basically put everything I'm doing on the line to get them to see their potential. If they don't see their potential, they never will see their potential. And I was seeing the other day on TikTok, this woman was talking about how she doesn't date for potential, that she sees somebody where they're at right then and there in that moment, and that's what she takes them for. And she was saying how it's like, for example, when a guy gets with a girl, he doesn't look at her and he's like, oh damn, well, you know, I see that maybe she could physically be this type, but she's not it right now, but maybe, you know, give her a couple months to, you know, work out in the gym and etc., and I'm sure she'll get there. No, you won't even get a call back. You won't even get a second date if they meet up with you and physically you're not what they want, right? So why should we not give them the same energy? Why will we get with a guy and be like, oh damn, well, I see that you have mommy issues and that you have a boatload full of, you know, trauma and issues that you're not doing anything to work on. You haven't even made the call to the therapist, okay, or tried to do anything. But I see potential. I see that you want to work through your trauma, so let me help you. Fuck no. Absolutely not. Immediately no. I've seen what I needed to see and now I'm going. Like, we need to give them that same energy, because why, when they look at us and they see potential, they won't give us a chance. But when we look at them and we see potential, we give them all the chances in the world. Forget second chances. Talk about 6, 5, 7, 8, 9 times. No. So what I'm doing this year, honestly, so I've talked to you guys before about how I've gone on my celibacy journey in 2019 to middle of 2020. I was completely celibate. When I tell you guys, I did not talk to a guy, did not kiss a guy, did not go out on a date with a guy, fucking nothing, okay, bitch? Like, I was celibate with a capital C. And I did it because I kind of been through all these toxic relationships, and I was just like, that's it, I'm done, I can't fucking do it anymore. And eventually what you have to do is take accountability. Now, people look at accountability as a scary thing, but honestly, it's about perception. When I think of accountability, I think of I'm taking an account for the things that I'm doing in my life that are harmful to myself, harmful to other people, harmful to just everyone in general. And I'm taking accountability and I'm looking and I'm saying, that's not who I want to be. How can I fix it? How to take accountability and be like, listen, yes, I've been with these men and they've been toxic to me and the things that they did were not okay, but I allowed it. I enabled it, and I'm sorry, but when you enable it, you're just as bad. Like, you really are, because you're basically saying, I've seen that you've cheated on me. And I'm talking about like men in like cheating and stuff like that. I'm not talking about like if someone's like like, no, don't try to come for me, okay? You cheated on me 4 times, but you know what? I'm gonna stay because you said that you're gonna change, but they never do. And eventually they see, okay, well, I just keep doing it and I keep coming up with a better excuse. And because, you know, she's going to believe me, I can just keep doing it. And what a guy does is he learns just how to not get caught. He doesn't learn how to change. He learns how to not get caught. So eventually you got to take accountability and be like, why do I feel so low about myself that I want to be with a man who cheats on me? If this was my daughter, would I tell her to stay? Probably the fuck not. Why do you think you're less worthy than your kids? So what I basically told myself this year is that I want to start my celibacy journey again. I quite literally want to date myself. Like, I literally want to take myself out to fancy restaurants alone wine and dine myself, buy myself flowers again, like put little post-it notes around my house of cute little messages, like things that I would want someone else to do for me. I want to start doing for myself, and I literally want to like document it with you guys, and maybe we can do this every Tuesday and just like check in, because how you treat yourself is how somebody else will treat you. And I feel like I have not been treating myself great lately, and I feel like I make all this progress, but then I'll be with the guy and I feel like I will again just like glance, either I'll be with someone who's really good, but then it just doesn't work out, and that's fine. You know, sometimes a guy is good, but he's not good for you. Or with like the guy that I was talking about in my story time of I got played again and I'm over it. We weren't even really like together. We were just like seeing, you know, if we were compatible and where things would go. But there were so many red flags in that freaking situation. Like there were so many red flags where I should have just fucking ran for the hills and never looked back. That made me realize, like, damn, Dakota, like you're not ready for a good guy. And here's why. I'm not ready for a good guy right now, because I don't even know if I would know what one was if it fucking hit me over the head. Like, yes, I do know what a good guy is, but have I healed enough from my trauma, right, to know that it's okay to be with a good guy and not have it be like my past relationships, because those past relationships were relationships that teach me what I deserve and what a good guy is. You get what I'm saying? I feel like I'm not healed enough yet, and I have a lot more work to do on myself before I'm with somebody who is amazing. I want to become the best possible version of me. That way I can let in a man who's the best possible version of himself. If I want to be with a great guy, I have to be a great woman. And a lot of people glance over that. All these like self-help gurus and like relationship coaches, even though you have no fucking credentials, want to be like, yeah, you deserve X, Y, and Z. But do you deserve it? Like, are you even nice to yourself, or are you toxic to yourself? Are you good to other people, or are you toxic to other people? Like, let's just be honest, right? Like, you have to realize that if you want a good quality man, you have to be a good quality woman. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list absolutely everything that I would want in somebody, and then see if I embody those traits. And if I don't, bitch, we got to get to work. Because like, instead of being Bob the Builder for a man, be Bob the Builder for your motherfucking self. Work on yourself. Build yourself up to be the best woman possible. That way, any experience that comes in that's not elite or low quality stays there, and you know that yes, you will attract people from all different areas of life, low quality people, high quality people. You'll attract jobs and situations from all walks of life, low quality situations, high quality situations, but you will be so busy working on yourself, and you'll get to that point where you feel so worthy and you love yourself so much that you are the determining factor where those low quality people and situations get to come in the door, or the door stays locked and they stay out, right? I want to dedicate this next solid year to working on myself, to dating myself, to making myself to be the highest. I owe it to myself to be the best looking I've ever been, to be the healthiest I've ever been. I don't think I'm asking for too much. I think that I am a high quality woman, therefore I deserve a high quality man who's at my level. And I know there's somebody out there who is like that. I'm tired of people being like, oh, well, maybe you're just expecting too much. No, I'm expecting what I deserve. And I'm sorry that you have settled, therefore you think that that's what life is supposed to be like. No. I'd rather be by myself than to be in a relationship ever again in my life that is toxic, because I know that I'm worth so much more than that. And it really takes a certain level of accountability and realization to be like, okay, as much as these men have been toxic, as much as these men have done to me, after a while I have to look in the mirror and be like, but sis, you're allowing it. And take accountability and be like, enough is enough. It's time to turn over a new leaf. It's time to set healthy, sustainable boundaries that you actually abide by, because a boundary is only as good as you abide by it. And to change my way around dating, and change my mindset around men, and change my mindset around how I want to be treated, and actually stand by that. And then when I see the first red flag, to walk away, because that's enough. Stop justifying why someone's a bad person. Sometimes they're just a shitty person. Stop being like, oh, well, they've been through a lot. Well, you know what? So have I. I don't go around hurting people. So there's that. So in life, bet on yourself. If you can bet on a man who was so toxic to you and did nothing beneficial for you but leave you with a boatload of trauma, you could sure as hell bet on yourself. Take this next year, or rest of the year, honestly. We're already halfway through. And bet on yourself. Make this year the best year of your life. Invest and bet on yourself, because you are your biggest priority, okay? You come first before anything. If you could bet on somebody who didn't do anything for you, you can sure as hell bet on yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed this little girl talk of mine. I really truly loved it. I feel so much better. I feel like I just, can you not? I feel like I just let out a bunch of like feelings that I had, and I just feel like we kind of chilled. We had some wine together. We talked constructively and beneficially, and I just had so much fun. If you want to catch more of me, I do have a personal development podcast. It's called Sis Let's Heal, and it's available on literally all streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify, literally everything. You don't even have to have an app or a subscription. Just click the link in my bio. It will take you directly to the link. I also super appreciate it if you followed me on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, and all my social medias are always linked in the description down below. If you want to know what I was using, I will try my best to list it, but I can't promise anything. I'm not reliable. Leave a comment down below and let me know that how for the rest of the year you are going to treat yourself better. Doesn't even mean that you have to be in a relationship. Honestly, you could be in a relationship but still have a relationship with yourself. You should anyway. So let me know down below what's one thing that you're going to do per week to make yourself just feel better about yourself. If you are single, let me know how you're gonna start dating yourself down below, because I think that's very important too. Let me know if you guys have liked this type of video. I had so much fun filming it, and my next story time is going to be a daycare story time, so y'all stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Mixing some pain and some passion. Nothing